Hey everyone, so I finally had a moment to sit down and watch the trailer in detail, and there was a lot going on in such a short clip. I mean, there were a lot of obvious differences that I noticed in the trailer and the original arcade version, such as scenery updates, character models, gameplay aspects, but we're going to take a closer look at things that may have gone unnoticed to the untrained eye. So let's analyze
The House of the Dead.
Let's start with fonts. It looks like they kept the same subtitle font in the that they used in the trailer. Same with the score fonts. This font is very similar to the ones that are used in the title screen for House of the Dead 1 and House of the Dead 2, and even in the menus for the Sega Saturn version of House of the Dead 1. Now, the original didn't use this kind of typeface for their subtitles nor for their score, so it's going to get some getting used to. Some more HUD updates. Looks like the two-player bullets are pointing to the right instead of the left. We got red two-player life torches instead of blue, and the second player score seems to be missing. As we can see in the original, second player also gets points. They showed it in the original trailer as separate, but not sure why they didn't do that here. Bullets are all pointing left, and the two-player life torches are originally blue, so I'm not sure why they decided to change that. So one thing to note here is the amount of bullets are shown on the left and right of the crosshair, and they deplete as you shoot. The assault rifle shows the bullets in a circular pattern. So in this clip, you can see where there used to be a building, there's now a tree and some benches. In the original, there used to be a sort of guard shack on the left side. Maybe they placed it further back in the remake and you can't see it in that scene. Who knows? Now, as you enter the mansion, there are vases along the back of the wall, and one of them should contain a coin for bonus points. Now here you can see there's 4 vases from 3 in the original. I guess it makes sense, you know, aesthetic-wise, to have the same amount on both sides of the doors. Makes it look a little more even. Maybe that's why they did it. On the topic of aesthetics, there seems to be a mantle and a fireplace now in the billiards room. Seems like they added fireplaces to multiple sections of the mansion to brighten up the place, but why would a fireplace be lit when there's only creatures roaming about? Like I mentioned earlier, more fireplaces, but also more furniture. You know, they see furniture at the bottom of the stairs and all the way in the back, filling up the space. But, you know, hearing Sophie's voice would have surely redirected them to the room instead of trying to go straight up the stairs. Windows. So it looks like there's a small nook with windows in the back now in the chariot fight. You know, originally there was just a simple wall with some mold and cobwebs, you know, well suiting to hold someone hostage. Now let's load up the map in Blender and just, you know, take a better look at this room. So as you approach this room, there's a door. There's actually a door before this room on the other side of this wall. You know, let's see what's on the other side of this wall. There's actually nothing. There's actually the window where the Sarzo jump out into the storage room, you know, before you hit the hallway. Now, what's up with that other door then? So let's go up and check out that door. So it looks like it just leads outside. So it's an exterior door, and those windows in the room totally make sense. So this one took a keen eye to notice. Now if we pause it right here and zoom in a bit, okay, we can see that Sophie's actually wearing stilettos. Now if we open up her model in Blender and load it up, we get legs. Okay, no. Zoom out a bit, pan it around. Okay, now we should add some material back in. Okay, but first up, one thing to know is the original arcade version used color palettes and index coloring for the textures. You know, it made it easier to swap colors on the fly, switching up colors, you know. But without those color palettes, all we get is a grayscale image, so it doesn't really help us. But right here you can see she's actually wearing pumps instead of stilettos. So, you know, it's not something you would notice right away unless you've actually seen or paid attention to it. But yeah, that's another difference. Okay, so you can see here G is actually wearing a white button-up with a dark or black colored tie, and they're both wearing gloves. You can see Rogan in that last scene was wearing gloves, and same thing with G here. If you look at the original, they both didn't wear gloves, and G had a blue button-up shirt with a gray tie. So I'm not sure why they changed that. Now, it might just be me, but it looks like Chariot's Bardiche looks a little smaller in the remake, and because of that, his grip is a little higher. I don't know. What do you think? So I thought this scene was pretty neat, and that went really fast. Okay, let's rewind it. Okay, regardless of whoever gets knocked down, Rogan always lands on his butt, while G lands on his feet. You can see here in the original, the same thing happens. Now, I'm not sure why the original devs figured Rogan to be a bit clumsy, but neither did we expect this from Uwe Boll. Okay, it seems like there's a new scoring system. From what I can see, you get 85 points instead of the original 80 from a kill, and 120 points for a headshot. I think it's still the same, so you get 205 instead of 200. But this part, it confused the heck out of me. Okay, let's play in real time and then slow-mo. Did you catch that? Okay, minus 100 points were given, and then 85 were given. Not sure what's going on here. Maybe it's a new mechanic? I don't know. So we've been calling this guy Kage because he doesn't have a known canon name, and this is the file name that I discovered when data mining the 3D model. But his attack seems a little more fluid and quicker here. In the original arcade version, he seems to have a little more hang time, if that's how you can describe it. So here it is side by side. Strangely though, they seem to have the same attack duration, so regardless, it shouldn't matter. Okay, this scene is at the start of chapter 2, where they jump off from the rooftop and slash down at you. In the remake, they're side by side, where in the original, they attacked in a line. Now, Drake, the guy with the knives, he seems to attack first in the remake, where in the original version, Rubin, the one with the claws, attacks first. So you can see here the difference between the two. So as I was watching the trailer, I kept hearing blip sounds here and there, and it took me a moment to realize what the sound was, and it was when the score counter changed. Not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I can imagine it getting a bit distracting after a while. Here are the scenes that I heard it from. Well, first off, I have to say, I never thought I'd see the day that House of Dead 1 got remade. I remember back in a podcast with Korimaru back in October of 2018, I mentioned to him that if there was a dedicated team, then for sure the game would be remade. That's also when I began my research doing reverse engineering of the game and trying to understand the asset format since the source code was supposedly lost. I'm not sure. You know, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, maybe in the hands of Tantalus, you know, the guys who ported the PC and Sega Saturn versions, you know, who knows. Second, while I continue to play and research the original game, you know, I'll also look forward to this adaptation. You know, it's kind of like reading a manga and then watching an anime adaptation after it. The storyline, you know, it's mostly the same, but with a few tweaks here and there. You know, sometimes better, sometimes worse, you know. Only time will tell. We'll have to wait, right? I'm sure there's a lot more subtle differences, you know, that a veteran player like me will notice straight away. But again, you know, it's not until I actually get my hands on the game and see what those are, because you know, there's a lot of times when I'll expect a visual or audio cue, that helped me during the game, and I'm sure that's not going to be there in the remake. So whether or not they're there or not, you know, it's going to throw me completely off. It's going to feel like a new game. As far as controls go, you know, I might not comment on that right now. You know, everything's been speculation up to now, so I'll kind of hold off on that, because, you know, it's something that everyone's asking about. Well, what about Joy-Con support? What about making a peripheral? Like for me, I actually play with a light gun, and I actually do have the actual hardware, the arcade hardware, so I can only play with the light gun. I can't play with a mouse. Everyone's doing all these speed runs and high scores with a mouse. Yeah, that's something I can't do. I'm not that able. But it would be neat if somehow we can switch, and I could hook up my light gun to a CRT monitor with the Switch and play with a real light gun. I know it's not going to happen, but that would be pretty neat if we can make that happen. But lastly, I guess it gives me another opportunity to make a new all routes video. If you haven't seen that, I did do one for the original arcade version. It'll be in the end card, but this will be definitely on my list of things to do, and hopefully I'll get around to doing that soon, maybe sooner than later. But I gotta find my Switch. Of all things, I seem to have misplaced it, but I'll have to hunt that around. I have about a month, so we'll see. And I guess that's it. Until next time.